Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Sal, freestockpicks.org. If you haven't already, please click subscribe right now on this video, as well as to join my mailing list. Simply go to freestockpicks.org and click at the top where it says join my mailing list. Fill in your email address and you'll be all prepared to receive that newsletter once we do get going. Now, today I want to talk to you guys about how to find penny stocks on the OTC market exchange. Now, what is OTC Markets? OTC Markets is an exchange, as the New York Stock Exchange is, as the NASDAQ is, and many other exchanges out there. There are very many exchanges out there. Most of them very small, have very few stocks. But for the most part, everybody knows what the New York Stock Exchange is, the NASDAQ as well. So OTC Markets is an exchange in a similar fashion. Now, OTC Markets has three levels of pricing, or actually say three levels of membership, I should say, rather. That's a better name for it. It's the OTC Pink, which is the lowest level. In fact, I can click on that here. And the lowest level that allows very small companies that have very little earnings, sometimes no earnings at all. And OTC Pink doesn't require that these companies have all their ducks in a row for the time being. And the goal is for an OTC Pink company to eventually be able to uplist to OTC QB. But most small, again, very poorly liquid, very little operations, they trade on the OTC market. This is basically the least, area or group that you can join that at least allow you to have your shares traded and sold and invested by people in the marketplace. So if you're a small mom and pop store, you can trade on OTC Pinks. If you got a business that you run inside your bedroom, you can trade on OTC Pinks. It's very inexpensive to be able to get on this market. For the most part, you don't have to submit official SEC regulated documentation for your company. So again, it's very risky for individuals who are looking to invest and trade stocks that are traded on the OTC Pink. But the but is huge. All right, the reward for investors who get it right, who time it perfectly, all right, who find that 1 in a million stock, the reward is astronomical. OTC QB, a venue just above, does require some members to submit official SEC documentation, also forces or regulates companies to have actual lawyers to verify the information and be willing to co-sign the documentation that is released. So there are requirements for reporting on the OTC QB level. It is considered an early stage and development stage venue, and for companies who have operations that are ongoing, they've been in business for some time, they do trade on the OTC QB market. Now, the OTC QX market is considered the best market on the OTC market venue as a whole. So the OTC QX, you're going to find a lot of some of the best performing companies within the OTC. You're going to find companies that could trade on the NASDAQ or the NYC, but for whatever reason, they trade on the OTC marketplace because it allows them to trade their stocks at, a cheaper price, cheaper fees than you would get on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ. You got to understand, to trade on the New York Stock Exchange requires, significant money, okay? Because a lot of times to say you're trading on the New York Stock Exchange has value in itself. So there are investors, there are mutual funds, investment banks that specifically look for companies that are traded on the New York Stock Exchange because that does mean something to a lot of people. All right. So within the OTC QX, you'll find a lot of savings and loan companies. You'll find a lot, there are not many of those left, but they're still out there. You'll find a lot of community banks. You'll find a lot of credit unions. You'll find a lot of small private banks. Those small town banks all over America, you're going to find them on the OTC QX. You also find companies that are also development stage, but they are positioning themselves to really be the type of companies that can eventually uplist to the NASDAQ. So if you're the type of company who wants to eventually get on the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange, you're going to trade on the OTCQX, so you can just show people you're positioning yourself. All right, so the OTCQX does require some of the most stiff, and tough standards to be traded on that level. So it's as if you're basically on those higher end venues, the NYC and the NASDAQ. Now, the website itself offers a lot of opportunities to find great companies. You want to look at where it says market activity, click current market. The current market screen basically shows everything of what happened today. This website is incredibly powerful and is very informative. You can break down, okay, by venue. You can, let me see, by, again, by union, I would say, let's just say union. You can break down by union, OTCQX, OTCQB, and OTC Pink. If you want to just look at OTC Pink, these starter companies that have high risk, high reward, you can look at that. I wouldn't even look at anything that traded under 300 times at all. I wouldn't even look at anything that traded less than that. So you can break it down by share volume, by number of trades, which is the best way to go because you actually want to be a part of something that was liquid and moving. Or if you're looking for sleepers in a bunch, then you probably would look at companies that were barely traded or barely trading right now. You can go down to most updated. So these are stocks that have maybe some financial news that was released recently or some information that was released in terms of PR updates and whatnot. The website also does a good job of placing decliners, stocks that lost money big in the market today. They do a good job of explaining that too. And again, they do it by union. So OTCQX, OTCQB, OTC Pink, you can break down the information that way. You can go to the news section, and the news section does also a great job of submitting all new news in the stock. So this is a great website that I like, a great page, excuse me, that I like coming to early in the morning. You come here at around like 7, 8 o'clock, you're going to see some of the new news even before the market is open. So when you're talking about these OTC Pinks, OTC QB stocks that release really strong news, you can come here, look at it and say, okay, is this the kind of news that's powerful enough to move the stock throughout the day? Let me go ahead and put an order in for the morning, okay? So the news section, very, very powerful section as well. You can go down, again, in the news section where you can look at videos. These are videos that the companies have released. The companies have released for the public to watch, for investors to watch. And some of the stuff is pretty informative. You can really do your due diligence and spread and cut out, the BS to companies that are actually really putting an effort to engage investors. Okay. Now, here's the most important part of the website, no doubt about it. It is the stock screener screen. So the stock screener screen shows basically all the securities. They're all here. Okay. So as we can see here, the website says loud and clear that there are 17,859 securities traded on the OTC marketplace. All right, this first box here, the tier, allows us to decide what we want to see. So I don't want anything in the gray market. Okay, those are stocks that just are floating out there in what we used to call the pink sheets. So those are just companies that are traded and they're slow. It's hard to get real bids for them. You just don't even concern yourself with those companies. All right, so today I want to look at OTC Pink, so I don't want any OTC QB, and I want OTC stocks that are current, so that are current in their filings to OTC Pink. So I don't want any OTC companies or over-the-counter traded companies that are limited in the information they provided, and I don't want any OTC companies that are provided no information to the marketplace. So I'm going to say that, and we're just going to go to go. So this now we have are all the OTC companies that are traded right now that have current information on these on the OTC markets, and we can see that's 5,610. Now the website also allows us to trade basically, or to download all the data we found into an Excel file. So that is really, really helpful when you've broken down what you're looking for. In order to keep what you found, you can go ahead and download an Excel file and be able to come back to that later. Very, very powerful tool. Security type, obviously there are several different securities you can buy and trade. rights, units, funds, warrants. I mean, go ahead and do your definitions, and you can go look into that. Only thing I'm concerned with is ordinary shares and common stock, okay? Locale, you can also look into companies. For example, if you don't want to see companies as a certain market, you can go ahead and unlist or uncheck mark the company. Let's say you don't want any companies from China. You can actually unlist that and no longer would have Chinese companies showing up in your list, okay? So I'm not going to do that now. I want everyone to pop up, so we're going to see what comes up. Now here's what another powerful tool is this SIC. I know it stands for something. Somebody out there knows what it means, but I don't have the definition off the top of my head. But this is an amazing tool that allows you to select literally the industry that you're looking for. So we can go down the list here and we can see, you know, we're looking for stocks that are involved in cotton, stocks that are involved in grapes, tree nuts, stocks that are involved in gold or specifically gold only, or gold and silver, or we're looking for maybe just silver. We look for stocks that are involved in metal mining. That's huge right now. So let's select metal mining, 1000, press go, and there we go. There are 202 securities that are involved in metal mining on the OTC marketplace. So here we are, and I had OTCQX checked. So let me, in fact, let's keep that on there. Let's keep that on OTCQX. So these are stocks that are involved in metal mining. So there are 202 stocks. So you can go through the list and then be able to do your due diligence on all these companies. And you can see they are traded here. All right, they are traded here. Let's go to the highest first. They are traded here. So these are the companies that are involved in metal mining. You want to look for companies that are low float, companies that, you know, are actually have operations that are recently updated. One thing I like to do is, let's say we can right click that. All right, let's open up the stock. This is the stock that I just clicked on, DBGF. Again, I know nothing about the company. Company profile. Okay, so obviously this company is not listing how many shares it's showing right now. But again, I'm looking for a company that is recent on its filings. As you can see here, this is pretty recent. May 31st, they released 10 quarterly report. I want to check the website. Does the website work? All right, and the website works, and it's a very nice looking website. Okay, so we can see here that this is probably a company that is actually operating, that is actually doing business. They're based out of South Africa. All right, they're an exploration stage company. And now that I see this, I want to actually look into that. So here's, and by the way, if you have this tool, it's a very powerful tool. All right, so DBGF. All right, my list of stocks there. And you can, you know, do some research on this company. So it just happened to stood out to me. And hey, who knows where this company will go. So DGBF, one of the stocks that came up on our search. So as we see, let's continue to go down here. Again, oil prices are cheap right now, so I want to look at oil companies. So here we see we have 27 stocks between the OTC Pink Current and OTCQX that are in the oil business. All right, so you can keep going and going and look for specific industries that stand out to you. You know, if for example, the Christmas time is coming up. When Christmas time is coming up, I'm looking at, you know, clothers. I'm looking at, you know, people who sell online. I'm looking at all kinds of activities of people that are going to be doing business. Okay, so again, guys, this is an opportunity for you to be able to look at companies that are trading publicly, and you know, jump in and you know, get an opportunity to get ahead of the game. So this is your boy Sal. This is how to find penny stocks on the OTC marketplace. I hope you've, you know, found this informative and you found another great way to find great stocks. Again, please subscribe if you haven't already. Appreciate it. Thank you.